Hello, interdisciplinarians. Welcome to our first podcast. My name is Ansh Shah, and I am interviewing Adarsh Dayalan. Adarsh is an undergraduate at University of Urbana-Champaign and is majoring in computer science. Welcome, Adarsh.
Hello, Ansh. Nice to be here. Um, so this is my second semester at U of I right now. I'm a CS major, as you said. Um, right now, I'm interning as a software developer at Disruption Lab,
Mhm.
where we're building like blockchain projects. And yeah, some of my hobbies are like working out and playing basketball too.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So how'd you get into computer science, and why do you like it so much?
Yeah, so I originally started coding freshman, sophomore year of high school. It was mainly through robotics, our robotics team at our high school. And that initially, like being in that environment with people who program, made me also want to program. And all the cool things we were doing with computer vision and robotics really led me to want to pursue CS more. And I think the main reason I fell in love with CS was when I started doing my own projects.
Mhm.
Because I originally started junior summer. I started my first project. I call it Face Lock, where I wanted to make a facial recognition door lock. So I just have to walk in front of my door. If it recognizes my face, it'll automatically greet me and unlock. And you can also
Mhm.
control it with an app. So I thought that itself was like super cool, and I just loved how I could use CS to make whatever I want, even if it sounds like super crazy or futuristic. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Have you worked on any other projects in college?
Yeah, so I've worked on a couple on my own. My most recent one is I'm making a workout app to
Mhm.
detect form and give feedback on form. So, like, let's say if you're doing squats, it could count the number of reps you have, the sets, and yeah, give responsive feedback on form. So, like, let's say you're not hitting depth, or your knee caves in a little bit, like things like that. So, yeah, right now I'm working on an app to do that.
So, Adarsh, mainly for the viewers, how did you get to where you are right now?
So I feel like the main reason I got into CS at U of I was because of my own independent projects I've done and my experience with software throughout high school. And doing my own projects allowed me to develop my skills in real world applications. And yeah, I feel like that exposure helped me a lot.
Right. So, are there any other tips and tricks that you would use to learn and that you would give for someone that also wants to major in CS?
Yeah. So I feel like you have to first find out why you want to do CS and like what exactly do you like about it.
Mm.
Because once you have that reason, it doesn't really feel like work. Like the more you do it, it's because you want to do it and you just get better as you go along. And right now, everything you need to learn, CS is online on YouTube, on Stack Overflow, Reddit, wherever. All the resources are out there. So it's just a matter of time and effort you put in and what your like creativity allows you to do.
Right. So, you mentioned before that you've done a couple of projects. What would you tell someone that's trying to start a project right now?
Yeah. So I would say pick a project idea you're genuinely interested in because the more interested you are in a project, the more effort and work you'll put into it. So when you're starting, I would say first do as much research as possible on your idea, your implementation, or how would you first make it. Because for my project at least, I spent the first couple weeks just searching up if the solution already exists. If so, how other people have done it, and that'll probably give you some ideas on how to start. And usually with a project, if you look at it at first, if you try to approach it, it's gonna feel like this big, like mountain, like this huge task you have to overcome. So I would suggest to like break it into small parts and accomplish those small goals first, little by little. So then at the end, you'll have a good idea on how you want to structure and complete your project.
Another question we have was, what resources have you used that have helped you in your field previously?
Yeah. So honestly, when I first wanted to learn how to code, YouTube was a big help because there's just like tons of YouTube videos on almost every single coding language possible on how to get started. And if you're wanting to use a specific API or framework, I would recommend to read the documentation so you know what you're implementing. And um, LinkedIn Learning is also a good resource I'm using right now. But once you obtain all this information and knowledge, the best way to learn, I would say, is by doing things. So you want to actually start by coding and applying your learning.
So you also mentioned that you are in an internship currently. I wanted to ask you what your role is in that internship right now.
Yeah. So at Disruption Lab, I'm on the blockchain project. So I'm a blockchain developer. And basically, what I'm learning right now is we want to make a website using React that can interact with different blockchain networks. Right now, we're going to be using Ethereum. So our first project or goal would be to make a kind of recruiting site that uses NFTs as skills, um, and they can either be rewarded by professors or things like that. And then, if time permits, we'll be learning more about blockchain and maybe even creating our own DAO. And the language we're using right now is Solana. So I would say
Mhm.
Solana is a great language to learn if you want to go into blockchain.
So do you have any tips on internships and how to apply for one in the CS field?
Yeah. So over the fall and spring, I would suggest doing either research or getting part of groups at college or high school. Right now, Disruption Lab is a organization at U of I. So I found Disruption Lab through like our mailing and website. There's just a ton of great CS organizations at U of I. And over the summer, I would say apply to first build your resume, have good documentation, have a GitHub, and if you have any projects, have definitely have that on your GitHub and have a README section on what it is, how you made it, things like that, so people can easily see clearly what you've made. And once you've built a good resume of your experiences and the different skills you have, um, find good internships either on LinkedIn. That's how I found most of mine, or you can find it on Google, things like that. Um, yeah.
So I know that U of I is ranked fifth in the world for CS. What made you stand out in your applications?
So I definitely think on top of my projects that I already talked about, my involvement in FULA and robotics helped a lot because those are two big time commitments I had, and having achievements to show for it instead of just having your own independent projects help a lot too, like competitions and placing like state level, nationally, or even in worlds for robotics. I think that helped a lot. But apart from CS, in your college apps, that shouldn't be your main or only focus. You should also have other characteristics about yourself. You don't want to just portray yourself as like an only CS type of guy. Like that is important to why you're applying, but you should also have other important characteristics about yourself.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Thank you so much, Adarsh, for the interview. I think the viewers and I have learned a lot about the field of CS and how to prepare yourself for the future. Any few final thoughts?
Yeah. So I would just say do what you love, do what you're passionate about, and the rest will follow. So yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Adarsh Dayalan for the interview, and be sure to check out his own website that he built and his Instagram in the caption below. Follow us at The Interdisciplinary and check out our website. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.